Hello and welcome. So in this video, I'm going to be summarizing 5 years of launching offers in 15 minutes or less. And today, we're going to be talking about very interesting concepts. And for me, I just want to show you at least what I've learned, why this place of launching products online often feels like a casino, and what you can do about it, right? So a little bit background of myself, probably launched like maybe 20, 30 offers, used to do them a lot. And I just realized since we're all just gambling with marketing products, why not just become a better gambler, right? And that's how you make cash. But on a more serious note, the reason why I'm doing this is because I had people who I cared about who were in this game and didn't gamble so well, and they ended up not managing their risk well, and it kind of sucked, right? So I went back to school, gotten into social science and quantitative finance, and today I'm here to bring you math-based tools to think about launching products and a weird hybrid of direct response and just basic mathematical literacy. So as I've gone through many, many days of just launching offers and doing a lot of this, a lot of the time, what it comes down to is the difference between the guy who's actually counting the cards and the person who is just putting in numbers randomly. Honestly, the difference between the 10%, the 99, maybe like the 80th percentile, to the 90th percentile, to the 99th percentile, to the 99.999th percentile is just what they count and what they're able to measure, right? For most people, they don't really measure anything at all. They don't really think about any like products as a chance game. They just think that some magic number is going to come out from the sky, and because of that, they will succeed, right? But often it's not the case, and usually you need to figure out how you can start to have house odds. People think that become like this guy over here, the MIT player, right? If you watch 21, you watch blackjack, or you know how they go into casinos. Oh, deck is hot, then they come in and they start betting more cash. It's the same thing, right, with spending on cold ads. But I think that it's not something that's very intuitive, and I hope to make this a little bit more intuitive for you. And when people are trying to look for edges in the market, often what ends up happening is that we like to climb to the peak of Mount Guru, right? This is my interpretation of Bob Ross, and trusting the process, knowing that there's no, what do you call it? No mistakes, only happy accidents, right? This is my happy accident. And, we confuse Mega Million lottery ticket with going to the peak of Mount Guru. And we go there thinking that we've won the lottery ticket, we bought it. But often that's not the case, because you don't really develop your own edge. You don't develop the thinking that's required to develop your own systems. And I think for me, it's really pushing you in this video to think beyond just what the framework is right now, right? And there's a reason why I don't really preach any frameworks. I just find it intellectually dishonest most of the time. Like what worked yesterday is not going to work today. And it's like saying that, if you looked back in the past, it'll be real, right? Most people in marketing are just copying frameworks and hoping for the best. And I think that's why one of the reasons why I tend to stay a bit more underground, because this is just not the sexiest thing to say. And I prefer to have a real conversation with my clients rather than treating them like idiot children. So yeah, this is what I've seen, right? In just launching a lot of offers, right? Most of the time, I'm just a glorified pull at the slot machine, man. And they probably bought some guy's course and they think like, oh yeah, Xander, launch it like him. And they're like, oh yeah, sure, bro, let's do it. And that's what ends up happening, right? Is that ideal? We'll explore that in other videos. You can explore that in other videos that I have on the channel. But usually it's not, right? And what ends up happening is that you go into a very crowded space and don't think for yourself. And yeah, that's why I'm all about thinking. I'm all about thinking about problems from first principles and helping you to develop your own unique edge in the market. Of course, I have my own ways of doing it, but yeah. Now, okay, I need to move my thing here. How do I? Okay. So yeah, basically, even people who bought systems and consulting from other people, they still had to build it from scratch. This is an eight-figure offer owner that I know. Um, I know that this is a trust me, bro anecdote, but seriously, trust me. Basically, the story was that they got some system, some guy taught him how to do his stuff, and then he said like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then they copy pasted everything, and basically it blew up in their own face. And then you'd be like, oh wow, maybe you didn't try hard enough, maybe you didn't put enough, like your intention wasn't pure, or like you didn't manifest hard enough. But the truth is, it's just that it's a pull, and what happens is that you are still playing the lottery game instead of the MIT game. And I'm going to come back to this over and over again. And that's what separates the good from the better to the best. It is how many ways can you split the deck? How many ways can you pull out things that could ruin your chances? I'm not just talking about creatives, right? I'm talking about the entire launch architecture that you have. The amount of offers they put out, it's not just like one creative, it's just like every single thing, right? Have you done the odds on every single thing? Yeah. And that's a really tough thing to do, it's not easy. So why not start from nothing as the ultimate freedom, right? If everything's a lie, if it's all just basically bullshit, if it's all fugazi air, right? Why not we just start from nothing? I think that for me, this is just the most intellectually honest thing to put out there. And if I were to distill it to you, even after eating, like I've done my fair share. I'm not sure if it's 10,000 hours, but probably north of a few thousand hours worth of like reading direct response and stuff. And like sometimes I have to take that stuff and throw it out, right? I feel like I'm committing blasphemy. I feel like I'm sinning every time I do that. And yeah, so a lot of the times, all these frameworks, they come, they go, they come and they go, they come and they go. And then you're like, yo, so what the hell am I supposed to do if everything that everyone teaches eventually just turns to shit and it's like useless, right? Well, there's still hope, and it's not going to come in the form that you thought about, but it will come in a form that's a lot more empowering, right? And I think it will be a lot more freeing for you to see the world this way. So how I see marketing now, or even direct response, launching products and things like that, actually is very, very simple. If we were to boil it down, it's just hypotheses and labels. What the fuck do you mean, Xander? What do you mean by hypothesis and labels? Obviously, bro, what the fuck what are you saying? So let me explain, right? When I talk about hypotheses and labels, basically what we're saying is that, okay, can you be the first one to spot a way to think about a problem, right? The way that AI is moving, it's so fucking fast, right? The moment that some guy launches a course, everyone's copying it, and then, it works for like 3 months, but then after that, it gets burnt to shit. The whole market's seen it, and then it's no longer useful anymore. But what is the cost, right? The cost is just a bunch of labels sorting through a problem. And the question is then, how do you develop these ideas, execute on them, and learn from them in a way that's fast, so that you don't have to like wait for courses, you don't have to go to some 30,000. I mean, like if you want to get like ideas, right, and you don't want to do the work of like finding it yourself, please go ahead. And you're like comfortable dropping that kind of cash, and like you have a track record of just executing really fast, and you like hopping on trends, and maybe like that's your thing, sure. But I have just been allergic to that for my entire 5 years of just doing this launching stuff. So like I can't do that. If that's you, I'm not your guy. Thank you for your time. Bye bye. But yeah, that's all you need to do, right? And when you do this, the enlightenment that you reach is something really profound. What you get to see, because you have all these like labels, and you're sorting through the data, and you're sorting through all the trends and all of the solutions, which I will be producing more videos about, like thinking about problems in the near future. But this video is more like big picture and stuff. I'm a big picture guy. Uh, so when you can do that, you see how the world's changing, and you see it with your own eyes. You see it with your own intelligence. You see it with your own questions. You don't rely on anyone else to feed you some magical formula because you are thinking about formulas most of the time, right? And I think that that's really what I'm trying to get across today. And while it's a very, it's not a very sexy message, but it is what it is, right? So when you do that, then you get to see what's actually changing. You have signal from noise. You don't just hear a bunch of headlines, a bunch of topics that pull you in a million different directions, and it makes you feel more centered as you run your business. And that's what I want to be able to offer you as well today as you're listening to this. Probably will cross 15 minutes, but yeah. So it's not about who's right, it's about what's right for you now and how long people or the ideas that you're trying to come in to add into your business, how long will they remain right for? Because a lot of the times, you get that shiny object. That shiny object actually, it works, right? And I'm not here to convince you that it doesn't work. I'm just saying that it works, but it works for a bit. And then, it stops working, and then you have to get the next thing. And then it's like a never-ending rat race of you buying courses and stuff, and then it goes in a circle, and you never really are able to escape this loop. And that's just because we don't think about how long is it going to be right for. When we get something, we think that we have the expectation that this is going to solve our problems forever. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So I just think that that's something to pay attention to. And what I'll show you next is how you can start to break free from that. How you start to let go of these limitations that are imposed on yourself. Climb down from the peak of Mount Guru, and really start becoming like the MIT guy. And it's really simple. First idea that I want to break across is range. And why range, right? People tell you specialize this, specialize that. Sure, in terms of execution, you should be good at something, right? You should learn how to do media buying. You should learn how to do copywriting. You should learn how to make offers. You should learn all of these things, right? These are all necessary skills to thrive and succeed in internet marketing, regardless of wherever you want to be, e-com, whatever the fuck it is, right? But what I'm talking about range is beyond those foundational skills, beyond those basic things like design, creating stuff, launching products, all of these things. What else is there for you? How else are you thinking about the problem? How else can you open your mind, expand your consciousness, and see where the world is headed? Because most of the time, our range of perception is so tiny, right? It's just us, couple gurus. We buy our way up all the way to the top of the guru chain, and then we use the thing, and then we are ahead. But then it's always like this. It's very capitally inefficient. You spend $10,000, and then you make it back maybe in 2 months, and yeah, it's not bad. You can do it. It's just I think that there's a better way. So back to my point. And if all you know is this, all you know is everything that has been taught in your industry, and it's like an incestuous circle jerk that never ends, sometimes you won't even be able to see the real goal, right? And if the real goal is outside of your range of perception, of course, then you'll never be able to do it, right? You'll never be able to solve the real problem in the business that's actually holding you back. And in this channel, I will also be going through other more nuanced topics, operations, bottlenecks, things like that. Just very more, subtle things that might be slowing people down. Things that, don't seem so obvious on the surface, but with enough range, you're able to see. So what if all you know is this? What if all you know about doing anything in internet marketing is just this tiny little circle? And my claim is that you have to expand your perception to this to be able to see the real goal. This you can put it as any arbitrary number, $100,000 a month, $1 million a month, $10 million a month, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? What matters is opening up that ability to even perceive the path, right? And most people are just too close-minded, or they are just stuck playing like lottery, and they don't see the limiting factors that are stopping them from going beyond and really seeing the truth of how the business is structured. And how do I aim to do this for you in this video? I think for me, how I really grew while I was doing all these like launches over the past 5 years is there were four main pillars that allowed me to develop an edge that allowed me and my clients to be decently successful for some periods of time. Uh, but basically, it boils down to these four things, right? It's operations, there's your launch systems, there's how to discover truth for yourself, and math and statistics. One thing that I'll tell you about my own personal journey to launching products is that I really struggled to think like a copywriter. Like, I did not know how to do it. Most of the time, I just used equations to write copy. I wasn't the most empathetic guy. I don't really feel emotions. I can't do like punch in the gut stories. It's not my thing. But what I could do is I could abstract the problem at much higher levels, and then just solve the human element afterwards. And that's what I hope to deliver for you today. A really honest way of being able to see the marketing without getting immersed in the emotion, and using these four pillars to break free from whatever it is that you're at right now, and learn about the true nature of your marketing game, and develop systems that allow you to play with that reality rather than denying it. Because everyone's going to sell you like certainty, guaranteed. There's nothing that's guaranteed, man. You just get better at playing the edges. That's about it. So what I really have been able to do is to open up that flow for myself and for people around me as well, and to discover new and novel ways to develop edges in the market, codify them, quantify them. And I hope that this video, while I didn't really say much, I think that I want you to start thinking about how you can improve your range, right? That means, how can you, on top of everything internet marketing, right, develop your own taste in what you can see, what you're able to appreciate, what you're able to understand, where you have an edge, where your mind thinks about problems that other people don't naturally see. I know that it's very intangible and stuff, but these are the real things that have made me have competitive edges in like my career, right? So I think it's really just about mastering the fundamentals of launches and stuff, the usual, right? But going beyond that and to think like, okay, what other new ideas can I do on top of that? As being a T-shaped person. And for me, I hope this video has been somewhat insightful for you, just to open your eyes to like thinking about problems, thinking about offers and how they are structured, right? And why most of the time, even the smartest people in the room that you look up to often don't even have the answers. They are just doing informed guesswork. So if that's the case, how can you get better at guesswork? And there's one message that I want you to take away from this video of just me just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall. It's not about that framework. It's not about this. It's not about that. It's about being honest with yourself, being honest with what you're testing, learning how to create a good test, learning how to read the market, learning how to stare at the market honestly long enough that you start to create new categories that allow you to see opportunities that other people can't see. How I would put it is like, it's a little bit like this, right? Super woo-woo, super strange. We'll get into like tangible execution stuff in another video. But how I see it is, if you stare at the water enough, or you stare at the weather enough, eventually you'll start to realize that if storm clouds are coming, it's likely going to rain, right? But you don't even know what a cloud is. You don't know what thunder is. So you got to stare at that thing long enough. Your brain just starts to pattern recognize everything. So what I'm saying is that instead of trying to borrow someone's lens, instead of trying to borrow someone's learning, most of the time you just need a lot of screen time thinking about the right questions, thinking about how you can improve your P&L, thinking about how you can differentiate yourself, and you naturally just get the answer, right? It's not that difficult. And if you just sat down and asked yourself categorically, what are all the factors that could go into improving the success of this? You list it down. That's most of how people even just solve problems, right? And it's just doing that over and over again. And ta-da, magically you do well, right? Of course, this is an oversimplification, and you still need your foundational skills, design, copy, managing a team, operations. In today's age, video editing, a little bit of understanding of video. But other than that, it's just sitting down, thinking to yourself, and then, okay, once you have that like idea of the world, then how can you test that, right? And how can you find evidences or pieces of evidence that help you to refute that or to confirm it, right? And that's about it, right? And that's why I went into stats, even though like I'm a fucking copywriter. It doesn't make sense, right? But it does, because I don't want to be shooting in the dark. I don't want to be gambling with like the money of the people that I work with, and like I can't live with myself pretending that I'm not, and I'd rather just say that I'm doing it more intelligently. So yeah, eventually, if this is something that you like, I will be talking about a solution that you can use and plug into. It's called Solver. I'll talk about it in my other videos. But yeah, just stay tuned. And a little bit of a tease. I have it's like 80 pages long. It's PDF. I mean, it's not PDF. It's like a slide deck, right? 80 pages long. Been working on it like, okay, it's just interesting. I don't want to go too much into it, but I think it's pretty cool. And I hope that, you enjoy it when it comes. But yeah, for now, if you enjoy just how I like to think about this problem of creating offers, launching it really quickly, just look for this video in my channel, Xander Wijaja. Search for this. You'll get more PDFs. You'll get how I think about trends. You'll get how to quantify trends. It's not just, look at the ad library and see if they spend more money on it, right? What I give you in this video is a very, very rigorous system to build your own ways of monitoring the market, right, and looking at trends. So while this video was a bit more like big picture, like, just stare at the weather long enough. But what this video does, it gives you like the controls. You get the humidity, you get the UV index, you get what else do you have? You get the temperature, and then you can predict the weather a little bit better, right? You get the global view, you have your satellite view on the world, and you get to predict the weather a little bit better. So that's what this video is going to do for you. If you like what I'm talking about right now, just a very macro perspective of how to think about gaining an edge in internet marketing without the hype, then you'll love this video. So yeah, that's about it from me. If you like it, like the video. If you want to subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. With love, namaste, I guess. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Oh, yeah, bye.